Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balava Girivanadari Gopijana Balava Girivanadari Jasodanandana Bhajanaranjana Jasodanandana Bhajanaranjana Jamunatiravanachari Jamunatiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balava Girivanadari Jasodanandana Bhajanaranjana Jamunatiravanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Boom Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Bo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Bo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Bo Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Padi Bhajakacharya Asateta Sri Srimad Divine Grace Abhay Charan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Kota Vaishya Brinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Shri Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Brinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavan Dham Ki. Mathura Dham Ki. Dwarka Dham Ki. Navadvip Dham Ki. Jagannathpuri Dham Ki. Jamuna Mai Ki. Ganga Mai Ki. Tulsi Maharani Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Samveda Bhakti Vinda Ki. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Sisi Radha Giridhari Ki. Go Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the divine lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Krishna Svadamo Pakate Tamikanadi Bisaha Kalanda Sadasamesha Pararnau Ko Nadodata Narayana Namaskritcha Naram Chaivam Narottama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayat. The Bhagavatam is as brilliant as the sun. It has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied with knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of the age of Kali shall get light out of this Purana. Before beginning our set of the Srimad Bhagavatam, one should first offer his respects to the personality of Godhead Narayan, to the Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, the goddess of learning mother, Saraswati, the author, Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Now, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva, we said? No. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, we're going to do two things today. We're going to talk about the verse in the Bhagavatam, and related to that, we're going to talk about the mystic world that we live in. We do not live. The argument, well, I don't understand. That should stop the show and shock everyone. We don't even know how our hair is growing or how we're digesting food. I mean, we don't even know what gravity is or what electricity is. They don't. Their definition is just a completely circular logic. What's gravity? Well, gravity is particles or waves, depending on who you talk to. So right off the bat, they've got two paths, But, ultimately, what does it come down to? It's a particle or a wave surcharged with gravity. Huh? It's like saying, what's electricity? Electricity is electricity. That's not an answer. It's circular logic. So, I mean, there's so many things that we don't understand. The idea that I don't understand, like I say, is a showstopper. Oh, well, then it can't be true. We are insignificant. Sorry for the gold star. Everybody gets a gold star. Everybody's significant. Actually, we're not so significant. One of the first steps in the, and I better get to the verse, in the first step in God realization in the Bhagavatam, and it's the first step, is recognizing that we are subordinate to, dependent upon a higher force. Prabhupada talks about how, Aborigines, they worship the volcano, or they, a high mountain, or, a fire, whatever it is. But and Prabhupada describes that one of the first steps is that recognition that I'm not the Lord of all I survey. I'm completely dependent on Krishna's mercy. Because from that dependence, ultimately comes the love. If I'm dependent on a merciful Supreme Lord who's protecting me and providing for me, and from love, what develops? If you recognize I'm completely dependent on a merciful Supreme Lord, from love, respect develops, and from respect comes love, and from love comes, Dravida was right, service. And from that, the whole process of bhakti develops, and from that develops neutrality, then friendship, servitorship, then friendship, then parental love. God give us this daily bread, recognizes our dependence. Okay? God gave us our daily bread. Without bread, I'm going to starve. So, okay, I'm dependent upon God. Now, when Mother Yasoda, this is Vrindavan mood. The other mood is God give me this, God give me that. I need this, I need that. God is the giant Amazon in the sky. Amazon, send it Prime and at a discount. I don't have to do much prayer. I don't have to do much service. I just fold my hands and say, hand it over, God. And it better come fast, or I don't believe in you. Well, that's a pretty fragile love. But what is the mood of, and Govardhan, Balaram gave class yesterday and referenced the, Krishna has a headache and everyone else, I'm not given the dust from my feet. But the gopis said immediately, definitely. So why was Mother Yasoda upset with Krishna when he knocked over the milk? She demanded that she give up the milk and come take care of him in the Damodar Leela, other than Dravida. What motivated her? Anybody want to say? Did she want to make nice sandesh or burfi, and she wanted to eat it? Yeah, she was thinking. Actually, Prabhupada says that she was concerned because Krishna was getting a bad reputation as a thief, Makanchor. He was a thief. And she was worried that, and if she didn't raise her child properly, he would get a bad reputation and become a juvenile delinquent. So she needed to train him properly. So that's what her motive. But her real motivation was to cure Krishna. She thought Krishna is stealing butter and yogurt from other houses, and so if I have the most tasty butter and milk sweets and ghee and all that, if it's the best quality, then that'll save him from stealing. So she had milk from specific cows, and the cows, okay, but what makes the milk nice? Anybody know? The grass. So she had special grass that was grown from the top of Govardhan Hill, also that Krishna would be fully satisfied. So everyone in Vrindavan is thinking, how can I please Krishna? Where materialistic love of God is, well, God, you take care of me, and if you do a good job, I might love you. So this is not, the mood of Vrindavan is sweet and selfless. And I don't know exactly how I got off on that, but we'll get back to it. Because what I want to do, and well, we got a clock, so I'll have to speed it up. Now, we need to chant the verse. And my 25-year-old is jamming up now. So I don't know what this is all about. Hang on, Prabhus. We'll get there. So we are on the 8th canto. We're on chapter 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I think we're on verses 22 through 24. Yeah? All righty. Yasya pramadayo deva veda lokash charachara nama rupa vibedena palgva cha kalaya kritaha yasya brahmadayo deva veda lokash charachara nama rupa vibedena palgya kalaya kritaha yasya brahmadayo deva veda lokash charachara nama rupa vibedena palgvacha kalaya kritaha yasya brahmadayo deva veda lokash charachara nama rupa vibedena palgvacha kalaya kritaha yasya brahmadayo deva veda loka charachara nama rupa vibedena yasya brahmadayo deva veda lokas charachara nama rupa vibedena Yasya Brahmadayo Deva Veda Lokas Characharaha Nama Rupa Vibedena Bhagavyacha Kalaya Kritaha Vaishnavis Yasya Brahmadayo Deva Veda Lokas Characharaha Nama Rupa Vibedena Bhagavyacha Kalaya Kritaha Yasya of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who? Brahmadaya, the great demigods, headed by Brahma. Deva, and other demigods. Veda, the Vedic knowledge. Loka, different personalities. Chara, chara, the moving and non-moving, like trees and plants. Nama Rupa, of different names and different forms. Vibedena, by such divisions. Palgva, who are less important. Cha, also. Kalaya, by the parts. Kritaha, created. Yata, as. Did we finish? Okay. So, because it's 3 verses, but we're going to read the translation of those 3 verses. The Supreme, now who's speaking? Anyone know other than Dravida? Who's speaking? Gajendra. And other than Tapas and Dravida Prabhu, how about the ladies? What's going on with Gajendra? What's the storyline? If we want to understand the prayer, we should know the context. Yeah, he's got this crocodile who's, a human being. What does he say? That an animal of the land is strong on the land. An animal of the water is strong in the water. So what's the crocodile? An animal of the land or an animal of the... It's an animal of the water. So the elephant is out of its element. The crocodile is in its element. Although crocodiles can run very fast, faster than a man for a short distance. Yeah, short distance. So he's been latched. Now Gajendra is a great... He was cursed to become an elephant. He was a great demigod. He was cursed to become an elephant. And the crocodile was... what was the crocodile in his previous life? I forget. So you've got the elephant. So he's stuck. He's in a dangerous position. So that's the scene. And he offers this prayer, amongst others. The Supreme Personality of Godhead creates his minor parts and parcels, the Jiva Tattva, beginning with Lord Brahma, the demigods, and the expansions of Vedic knowledge, Sam, Rig, Yajur, and Atharva, and including all other living entities, moving and non-moving, with their different names and characteristics. I guess we read a little further. As the sparks of the fire or the shining rays of the sun emanate from their source and merge into it again and again, the mind, the intelligence, the senses, the gross and subtle material bodies, and the continuous transformations of the different modes of nature all emanate from the Lord and again merge into him. I'm going to read the whole thing. Let's see. He is neither demigod nor demon, neither human nor bird or beast. He is not a woman, man, or neuter, nor is he an animal. He is not material quality, the fruit of activity, the manifestation, or non-manifestation. He is the last word in discrimination of not this, and he's unlimited. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Gana Timarandasya, Gyana Gana Salakaya, Jakshusha Milatangina, Tasmade Shri Gurave Namaha. I did want to say something about yesterday's verse. And it's the lead up, the elephant, Gajendra, realizes that he's losing. And he doesn't have any other shelter. So he prays to Krishna, please save me. Of course, he offers all these nice praises first, but ultimately he gets to the bottom line. I need your help. So along with feeling completely dependent and on the Supreme Lord, he also is feeling another emotion other than Dravida. What other emotion is Gajendra? Fear, okay, fine, the panic. But upon offering this prayer, asking for help, Gajendra feels something mentioned in the verse. Anyone know, other than Dravida? Yes, that's also there. But there's something else. Is it? Govardhan? He feels regret. He's thinking that, well, I'll say it. I remember we were driving on Sankirtan in Michigan in the wintertime. And I was lying in the back seat of the car. And I was reading Krishna book. I was planning on taking a nap, but I thought, well, let me read a little something. So, and it's describing how a devotee is fearless because they know that Krishna's controlling everything, Krishna's behind everything, the cause of all causes, the resting place and the origin. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, if I really had full faith in that, I'd be fearless. I'd be free. Whatever happens is Krishna's arrangement, and Krishna's all good, absolute in the ultimate. I may not understand. I may not see how it all fits together, but at least somebody's in charge. At least Krishna, he knows what's going on and the purpose. I'm playing checkers, and Krishna's playing chess. In other words, he's on a much higher level, the highest level, and he knows how it all fits together and what the purpose and reason is. I don't understand. Well, I can barely tie my shoelaces. So I was thinking like that. And just then, I felt the car start to spin. And I saw whatever the exit was, I saw it go by once, and as I spun around a second time in the back seat, I saw it go by 3 times. And what had happened is the driver, the devotee driving, had missed the exit and wanted to pull over, and maybe he thought he'd back up, but he jerked the wheel. Now, if you're on the ice, if you're in Michigan, and the snow melts, and then quite often as it gets colder during the day, it makes like a sheet of glass. And if you jerk the wheel, you spin. So at 75 miles an hour, we spun 3 times through traffic. Didn't it? Because I remember I was thinking, well, if I really knew Krishna was in charge of everything, if I had full faith, I wouldn't be in any anxiety or fear. And it all happened so fast. We spun it 3 times, and then bam, we were on the side of the road, facing in the right direction, and everybody okay. So I remember, I thought, well, geez, that's pretty much proof. And I remember when there was a big truck, and it had pulled over, seeing us at 75 miles an hour, spin through traffic, through, missing cars. And then we land over on the side, untouched, unscathed, facing in the right direction. So, we're dressed like devotees. I got out, and, with the other two other devotees. And the guy said, "What are you?" We said, "Well, we're Hare Krishna monks." The guy said, excuse my language, he said, "Damn." He said, "I'm a believer." After he'd seen what, So not that, I think it's in the Bible, Jesus says, "Wicked is the generation that seeketh signs," that we believe in God only if he performs some miracle or, no. The whole thing is a miracle. The fact that I'm standing here talking to you, that alone is a miracle. There's so many things that are a miracle. Prabhupada said, I remember him saying it, he said, the hand of God is everywhere. We just have to have the eyes to see. He held up a tangerine. We call him a tangerine. It was big size, nice, sweet tangerine. And Prabhupada said, how can they say there's no God? As he was looking at the tangerine. He said, it comes so nicely packaged. And if you think about it, we'll be dead and buried under plastic. But, you make a nice skin of a fruit. It's biodegradable. You feed it to the cows or, the elephants, or, and it's fertilizer. And inside, it comes individual servings. With an orange or a tangerine, you can eat half of it. It's got individual servings. And in every tangerine or orange are seeds that can create more. Suppose I started Swami's car lot, Swami's car dealership. And all I had to do was to put 2 Mercedes in the garage and give him a little time, and I'd have the mother and father Mercedes and a baby Mercedes. That'd be pretty cool. Wouldn't have to, no capital investment, just breed Mercedes. So the idea that, just think about it. Think about this one. I remember Shiva Ramar saying, you don't have to look far. And he heard Prabhupada say this, that you can take straw. It's lower than a straw in the street. So, and if it was straw, you use it for stuffing a mattress maybe, or, it's not, they're not trading straw on the commodities market in Chicago. It's pretty insignificant stuff. And yet, make a machine that you can stuff hay into it, and out comes the miracle food. Prabhupada says the miracle food for babies and old men, milk. Can you do that? Feed Prabhupada, according to Shiva Ramash, Prabhupada said, feed your wife straw and see if she can make milk. It'll kill her. And yet, here's a cow and comes out wonderful milk. Sorry, vegans, but, the fact that you can't understand that is because milk develops the higher brain tissues. So if you drank a little milk, you'd probably understand it. Sorry about that, but it's a bit of a swipe at the vegans. Although the mood is good, that they don't like the violence. If they're a vegan because of anti-violence, then that's a noble position. I offer my respects. Okay, so the mystic power, Prabhupada calls Purnam, and we're going to get back to, I don't know how much time we've got. What is it? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasisyate. There's a lot of Purnams in there, in that verse. And it means that Krishna's the complete whole, And yet emanating from him are so many other complete wholes. And Prabhupada gives the example of the, what is it? I remember, who's our friend Hari Kesh was trying to make a free energy machine. Oh yeah, it was one of his escapades. So he actually flew Sadaputta over, and Sadaputta said, "Nee, it's not going to happen." So anyway, but think about this. The sun is shining. Does anyone know the sun is shining on the ocean? Does anyone know why there's salt in the ocean? I heard Prabhupada say it. Yeah. Huh? Fish will survive. Well, I hadn't heard that one, but that's an interesting. What Prabhupada said was that it acts as a preservative in the water, and Prabhupada said it controls the distillation rate. Salt in the ocean. So the sun is shining, it evaporates the water. Then in the form of a cloud, Krishna blows it from over the ocean, and it catches, on the, what do they call it? The side of the mountain that catches the water. There's a name for that. There's a dry side and a wet side. Like you drive this way, you get all the trees, and you get, what is that place? No, that's for sailing. But it's a good guess, though. But and as soon as you get over the hill on the other side, because it's dry as a bone, it begins to be the California desert, because they catch on the mountains, cloud. Now, first off, if I were to, and I've given this example before, if I were to float this glass of water, Om, and it lifted up, lid came off, no hands, and it floated back and the lid went back on. You guys would be pretty impressed. I mean, I'd be impressed. I'd be shocked. So he must be Bhagavan. But this is again from Sariputta Prabhu, one of my heroes. It rained what was it? It was something like a 16th of an inch, which, I mean, that's practically insignificant, a 16th of an inch, in Southern California. Okay? That's a simple fact. Now, Sariputta, being the scientist that he is, remind me to tell you how Sariputta calculated the height of Govardhan Hill. Because he was he had a PhD in statistics and another PhD in theoretical physics. He was a wonderful, fantastic person. So anyway, if you've got rain that covers a 16th of an inch in Southern California, now be conservative, no magical thinking here. Just take San Diego County. The surface area, it's X number of miles or whatever it is. So they know what the surface area, and let's be conservative, forget Orange County, forget Riverside, forget San Bernardino, forget whatever, let's just forget whatever it is, Inland Empire, but just take San Diego County. Now you can figure out how much water it takes to cover it with a 16th of an inch. Okay? Now, you can figure out how many gallons it would take of water to cover that surface area. And water, I mean, there's heavy water. Okay, fine, work with me. An average gallon of water weighs a certain amount. Somebody can Google it. I think it's either 9 pounds or 12 pounds. I forget what it is. But there's a fixed rate. So, to cover San Diego County with a 16th of an inch is going to weigh billions, with a B, billions of pounds of tons, billions of tons of water. Okay? Now, you think I'm Bhagavan because I can float this glass. And there's some yogis that can do it, okay? But what about Yogeshwara, the master of mystics, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, who can float billions of tons of water in the air? Isn't that impressive? Who does that? Okay, so the sun is shining. There's a distillation rate and so many things. It floats off into a cloud, billions of tons. Krishna blows it where it catches on the mountains and it pounds on the mountains. When it pounds on the mountains, it takes all the minerals, all the nutrients, so much zinc and copper and whatever it is, and it all pounds, and then it flows down onto the plains. Is it the American, what is it? Once fruited plain, you know, God bless America, whatever that song is, okay? So it brings down, it fertilizes everything, it waters everything, then it takes all the garbage and all the waste and deposits it via rivers back into the ocean. So it's a free energy machine. It's shining, it's drawing off the water, it's picking up the nutrients. Who did that? How did that happen? So Prabhupada's point was that the mystic power of God is all around us, from a tangerine to the ocean. I mean, where do you want to look? How a cell divides, they still haven't figured it, because it's sequential. You have to do this before you do that, before you do this, and this is dependent on this, is dependent on that. There's all kinds of stuff going on. What is it? They snip the gene, whatever it is, and yeah, whatever it is inside, and it has to untangle it, and it's more a single cell is more complicated than New York City, and we can see how good a job they're doing at managing this. The San Diego, which is a metropolis. Whoops, they're $250 million in debt. Oh yeah, how did that all work? Well, you know, what did they get there? So my point is, the simple point I'm trying to make is that the mystic power of God is all around us if we have the eyes to see. And from that should come a sense of dependence. And from dependence should come gratitude. And from gratitude should come service. And from service should come love. And there it is. Okay, I was going to say more. Oh, so regret. One last thing about regret. We got a few minutes here. One of the things that I love about the Bhagavatam is that it has empathy with the human condition. You know, you've got, and I don't want to pick on them, but it's an easy shot. I love God because of what God can give to me. Give me this, give me that. Om Jaya Jagadish Hari, give me a new car and a house by the sea. So that's one thing. But the idea, but it recognizes, even though the devotee is feeling regret, this is my point, Gajendra, and it says he offered prayers. He's going to get around to it. He's going to offer some sweet prayers first, but then he's going to say, hey, bottom line, can you help me out here? I'm stuck. I don't have any other shelter. And Krishna, of course, does it in a wonderful way. But that it recognizes, the Bhagavatam recognizes, if I'm completely a child, completely dependent on a good parent or good parents, they're going to ask for stuff sometimes. They're going to turn to the parents and ask something. And on one hand, we're trained to recognize that Krishna's taking care of everything. Krishna's maintaining us. I just gave an example. Krishna's sustaining. Krishna's maintaining. So when we're in trouble, it's a natural human emotion. That, please, you can save me. Please save me. So Bhagavatam has that nuance. It recognizes the dependence of the living entity. It recognizes that, we really don't want to be on the platform of, that God give me this, God give me that. That's not really love of God. As Prabhupada says, God give us this day our daily bread. So first book I had after the Gita was the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And Prabhupada says in the intro, that God give us this daily bread. Prabhupada says that's not really love of God, it's love of bread. I loved that. I said, there you go. He hit it right on the nail on the head. But it also recognizes that we're human beings, we're struggling, it's natural that we're going to pray to God. So it doesn't just write us off that you asked for something, therefore you're going to burn forever in hell. And that this idea, as Balaram was saying the other day, that you have one life. We're distracted by so many things. The average American, if you average it all up, waits about 1.5 years of his total life waiting for the light to turn green. So how I would read in the back of the cereal box, we're doing so many things. How much time do we really spend deeply thinking about, is there God, and how can I know him, and how can I purify my heart? We're spending most of our time just frittering it away. And you only have one life, most of which you fritter away on just spacing out. And then if you don't come to the point of pure love of Jesus or God, Jesus, the Son or the Father, but you burn forever in hell. Forever. Do you think that's a fair deal? My son almost burnt down my office one time. We had fireworks for the Ram Vijay, when you shoot Ravana. And I had them on top of my refrigerator. And I told my son, don't mess with these. So what did he do? I came down to get a potato, I think, out of the Temple Walking, because I didn't have a chance to go to the grocery store. And while I was down, and Nimai was with him, our Nimai, reached up, climbed up on a chair, and pulled down the bag with all the fireworks, the box, and it had everything. It had spinning wheels, skyrockets, pinwheels, the whole thing, right? And it fell on the stove when he pulled it down from the fridge, and just what you're thinking happened. The whole bag caught on fire. Now, I'm walking back with my cauliflower, a couple tomatoes, and all of a sudden, zing, zing, zing. My son, another kid whose name I've forgotten, and Nimai, then they saw me, hey, how you doing, Badri? And it literally, as I went to open the door, it's like the cartoon movies. Pinwheels, skyrockets, my whole office caught on fire. The fire department came, had to hose the whole thing down. I lost so many files because it was before the computer. It was a real mess, Now, I told him not to do it, and he did it. Suppose I'd told my son, that's it, you're out of the house. I never want to see you again. You're out. He was only about, 6, 7 years old. I've thrown him out of the house. I told you not to do it, and you did it. Therefore, you're banned forever. But the speaker's sending him to hell. I've just thrown him out of my house. He's sitting on the curb. I didn't do that, so it's an imagination. But imagine he's sitting on the curb crying. And one of the neighbors sees this little boy crying What happened? Oh, my father threw me out of the house. I can't go back. He won't feed me. He won't clothe me, and I have nowhere to stay. And I'm sorry. I didn't. What's going to happen to me? I'm going to get arrested. I'm going to get arrested for child abuse. Even mundane morality. I'm going to jail. Well, I told him. I gave him a chance. Is the judge going to say, oh, well, you warned the kid, but no problem. No, I'm going to go to jail. So even mundane morality takes offense at that act. And yet God burns, you burn for hell, in hell forever? What? And here's another one. That's the best God, that's the best system of reformation God could come up with. One life, the majority of which you waste spacing out, and if you don't get the whole message and clue in, you're going to burn forever in hell. And that's the best system God could think of for reformation? What do you think? Now you compare that to reincarnation. Each life is a lesson. You can go up, you can go down, you get unlimited effort, tries. Isn't that a much more intelligent, scientific, workable solution? And God, the creator of all things, amazing miracles, the best he can come up with is one life or you're burned in hell? Jeez, I'm not very impressed. So the fact that the Bhagavatam understands the human condition perfectly and figures out how to purify us, how to redeem us, that's Krishna. So feeling a little regret, it's understandable, and we should end there. Okay, thank you very much. All glories to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. I do want to read, not now, because it talks about different, if somebody reminds me. I went through the Bhagavatam long ago, spent some time, and all the different types of beings. There's Kinnaras, there's Kimpurushas, there's this, there's that. It's pretty far out. Who else is out there in the universe?